Paramahamsa Pri Vrajagacharya Stotra Satta Sri Srimad, His Divine Grace, Srila Bhai Charanarvinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Skandiviti Founder Charya's Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada Ki Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Harinam Sankirtan Ki Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jainitai Gaura Pimanande. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru, to Sri Gauranga. All glories to Sri Prabhupada. Om Agyanatimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Taksurimritam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Juta Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaisnavam Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatan Vitam Tvam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakanvitam Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kansana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusati Devi Pranamami Hari Priye. Vansakalpa tarubhyascha kripa sindhu vyayevasha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Narayanam namaskritya
Narayanam namaskritya
naram chaiva narottamam devim sarasatim vyasam
Devim Saraswatim Vyasam
tato jaya mudiraya.
Tato Jayamudire.
Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is our very means of conquest, let us first offer respectful obeisances unto Narayana, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, unto Nara Narayana Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Nasta prayesha badreshu
Nashtaprayeshu abhadreshu
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya
Bhagavatuttama Shloke
Bhagavate Uttama Shloke
Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki.
Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki.
By regularly hearing the Srimad Bhagavatam and by rendering a service unto the pure devotee, all that is troublesome within the heart becomes destroyed practically to nil, and loving devotional service unto the Supreme Lord, who is praised with transcendental songs, it becomes established as an irrevocable fact. Idam Bhagavatam Nama
Idam Bhagavatam Nama
Puranam Brahma Samhitam
Puranam Brahma Samhitam
Uttama Shloka Charitam
Uttama Shloka Charitam
Chakara Bhagavan Rishi
Chakara Bhagavan Rishi
Nishreyasaya Lokasya
Nishreyasaya Lokasya
Dhanyam Swasyayanam Mahat.
Dhanyam Swastyayanam Maha.
This Srimad Bhagavatam, known as the Grantaraj, the king of all Vedic literatures, is the literary incarnation of God. It is compiled by the incarnation of God as Srila Vyasadeva. It is meant for the ultimate good of all people. It is all successful, all blissful, and all perfect. Sri Krishna Chaitanya
Shri Krishna Chaitanya
Prabhu Nityananda
Prabhu Nityananda
Sri Advaita Gadadhara
Advaita Gadadhara
Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda.
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna
Krishna Krishna Hare Hare
Krishna Krishna Hare Hare
Hare Rama Hare Rama
Hare Rama Hare Rama
Rama Rama Hare Hare
Rama Rama Hare Hare.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Om Sarabhyai Namaha.
Om Surabhyai Namaha.
Om Sarabhyai Namaha.
Om Surabhyai Namaha.
Om Sarabhyai Namaha.
Om Surabhyai Namaha.
Mukam karoti vasalam pangum langayate girim Yat kripat maham bande Sri Gurum Dinatharanam. Yat kripat maham bande Sri Gurum Dinatharanam. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Welcome to our Bhagavatam class, and kindly excuse a little bit the delay in beginning the class this morning. It's our first day. Okay. I was wondering how this would come here. Yes. So we are reading from, let's see, this is the current place where they are reading here, or someone selected this verse? Huh?
Selected.
Somebody selected. Who selected? Ah, okay. Let's see why he selected the verse. I mean, why he selected this verse. Yeah. We're reading from canto number 7, one of our favorite cantos. And chapter 11, one of our favorite chapters. On the right track. And I guess it's text 14 or 15. 14. Okay. Yes. Viprasya Adhyayana Adini. In the text, actually, it's one word, but we broke it up here to make it a little easier. I was thinking about this personality. Haribo, hi, Hare Krishna. Welcome. Hare Krishna. Just talking about Brahmana. Sat. Okay, and let's see. Anyasya apratigraha rajnaha prajaguptuhu va kara adibihi. Yes. So yeah, it's Canto 7, Chapter 11, 14. If you can, because we don't have it on the board, you have it on your individual boards. From the big board, the small boards have come. Viprasya jayana dinim. Viprasya jayanadini sad anasya pratigraha sad anasya pratigraha rajno vriti praja guptur rajno vriti praja guptur aviprad va karadibihi aviprad va karadibihi viprasya jayanadini sad anasya pratigraha rajno vriti praja guptur aviprad va karadibihi.
Viprasyadyana nadini Shadanyasya pratigraha Rajno vritti praja goptur avipradva karadibihi
Viprasyadhyayanadini Shadanyasya pratigraha Rajno vritti praja goptur Avipradva karadibihi.
Ladies, anyone?
Viprasyadhyayanadini
विप्रस्याध्यायनादीनि
षडन्यस्य प्रतिग्रहः
षडन्यस्य प्रतिग्रहः
राज्ञो वृत्ति प्रजा
राज्ञो वित्ति प्रजा गोप्तुर्
अविप्राद्वापरादिभिः
अविप्राद्वाकरादिभिः
Viprasya
विप्रस्य
of the Brahmana.
of the Brahmanas
Adhyayana Adini,
Adhyayana Ani
reading the Vedas,
reading the Vedas
etc.
etc.
Sat,
Sat
6.
6
To study the Vedas,
to study the Vedas,
to teach the Vedas,
to teach the Vedas,
to worship the deity,
to worship the deity,
to teach others how to worship,
to teach others how to worship,
to accept charity,
to accept charity,
and to give charity.
and to give charity.
Anyasya,
Anyasya
of those other than the Brahmanas,
of those other than the Brahmanas,
the Kshatriyas.
Kshatriyas,
Apritigraha,
Apratigraha,
without accepting charity from others.
without accepting charity from others.
The Kshatriyas may execute
The Kshatriyas may execute
the 5 other occupational duties
the 5 other occupational duties
prescribed for the Brahmanas.
prescribed for the Brahmanas.
Rajnaha,
Rajnaha
of the Kshatriya.
of the Kshatriya,
Vrittihi,
Vrittihi,
the means of livelihood.
the means of livelihood.
Prajaguptuhu,
Prajagoptuhu,
who maintain the subjects.
who maintains the subjects.
Aviprat,
Aviprat,
from those who are not Brahmanas.
from those who are not Brahmanas.
Va,
Va,
or
or
Kara Adibihi,
Karanihi,
by levying revenue taxes,
by levying revenue taxes,
custom duties,
customs duties,
fines for punishment,
fines for punishment,
etc.
etc.
Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki.
Jai.
For a Brahmana, there are 6 occupational duties. A Kshatriya should not accept charity, but he may perform the other 5 of these duties. A king or Kshatriya is not allowed to levy taxes on Brahmanas, but he may make his livelihood by levying minimal taxes, customs duties, and penalty fines upon his other subjects. Kindly repeat after me. For a Brahmana,
For a Brahmana,
there are 6 occupational duties.
there are 6 occupational duties.
A Kshatriya should not accept charity,
A Kshatriya should not accept charity,
but he may perform
but he may perform
the other 5 of these duties.
the other 5 of these duties.
A king or Kshatriya
A king or Kshatriya
is not allowed
is not allowed
to levy taxes on Brahmanas,
to levy taxes on Brahmanas,
but he may make his livelihood
but he may make his livelihood
by levying minimal taxes,
by levying minimal taxes,
custom duties,
customs duties,
and penalty fines
and penalty fines
upon his other subjects.
upon his other subjects.
Purport. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains the position of Brahmanas and Kshatriyas as follows. Brahmanas have 6 occupational duties, of which 3 are compulsory, namely studying the Vedas, worshipping the deity, and giving charity. By teaching, by inducing others to worship the deity, and by accepting gifts, the Brahmanas receive the necessities of life. This is also confirmed in the Manu Samhita. Sannamatu karmanam masya trini karmani jivika yajana japane chaiva vishudatscha pratigraha. Of the 6 occupational duties of the Brahmanas, 3 are compulsory, namely worship of the deity, the study of the Vedas, and the giving of charity. In exchange, a Brahmana should receive charity, and this should be his means of livelihood. A Brahmana cannot take up any professional occupational duty for his livelihood. The Shastras especially stress that if one claims to be a Brahmana, he cannot engage in the service of anyone else. Otherwise, he at once falls from his position and becomes a Shudra. Srila Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami belonged to a very respectful family, but because they engaged in the service of Nawab Hussain Shah, not even as ordinary clerks, but as ministers, they were ostracized from Brahminical society. Indeed, they became like Mohammedans and even changed their names. Unless a Brahmana is very pure, he cannot accept charity from others. Charity should be given to those who are pure. Even if one is born in a family of Brahmanas, if one acts as a Shudra, one cannot accept charity, for this is strictly prohibited. Although the Kshatriyas are almost as qualified as the Brahmanas, even they cannot accept charity. This is strictly prohibited in this verse by the word apratigraha. What to speak of the lower social orders? Even the Kshatriyas must not accept charity. The king or government must levy taxes upon the citizens in various ways, by revenue duties, customs duties, realization of fines, and so on, provided the king is able to give full protection to his subjects to assure the security of their life and property. Unless he is able to give protection, he cannot levy taxes. However, a king must not levy any tax upon the Brahmanas and the Vaishnavas fully engaged in Krishna consciousness. Very important last line.
Crux.
Yes. So repeating here the translation. For a Brahmana, there are 6 occupational duties. A Kshatriya should not accept charity, but he may perform the other 5 of these duties. A king or Kshatriya is not allowed to levy taxes on Brahmanas, but he may make his livelihood by levying minimal taxes, customs duties, and penalty fines upon his other subjects. A verse chosen this morning for, I suppose, various purposes. We know that many years ago, Srila Prabhupada had specifically directed the devotees. He was speaking to his American disciples, his first disciples, that America can actually become actual leaders in society if our devotees introduce systematic culture. Prabhupada called it the Brahmana culture, the Kshatriya culture, the Vaishya culture. He spoke specifically about the Brahmana culture and Kshatriya culture. The others are also culture. Vaishya culture, Shudra culture. Actually, all of the levels, the 4 levels of Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra are all actually elevated positions in society. That's why we read on occasion Srila Prabhupada mentioning that if Brahminical culture, meaning these four varnas, are not established, then it is not proper civilization. It's not considered civilized. Society is not considered civilized. So, specifically also, Srila Prabhupada, he wanted that we develop. One devotee was asking many years ago, how to do all this? How to establish Varnashram, which is actually, what is it? The $1 million question. How to do this. And then Prabhupada gave very, very nice answer, very specific reply, telling that you just consider everyone as unqualified. In Kali Yuga, that's not difficult to assume. Because Kalo Shudrasam, but we're all unqualified in so many ways. And then you develop courses, you develop a curriculum, one for Brahmanas, another different curriculum for Kshatriyas, and a third curriculum for Brahmanas, for Vaishyas. And then whoever, we could say qualifies, whoever passes and is successful in studying this curriculum, then you designate them. Although we are against, upadhis, upadhis designation, but Prabhupada uses the word, you designate them, you qualify them, you certify them, basically. There's qualification and certification. Actually, both should go hand in hand. You recognize them so that people in society can understand and know that, okay, he's a Brahmana. Just like, people, of course, in our ISKCON society, we tend to think that only Brahmanas can or should wear what we call a Brahmana thread. But actually, in the Vedic culture, beyond Brahmana thread, there is a Kshatriya thread and a Vaishya thread, both of which we have yet to see within our ISKCON society. And it might take some time, but eventually actually it has to happen. So we can see here by the description how, Vedic culture is extremely well arranged. It's based on very scientific systems, which are actually not meant to be changed also. And we see the 6 activities being described here of Brahmanas, 3 of which are compulsory. Which means that actually those who are really Brahmanas, they should be having, in addition to having darshan of the deities every day and worshipping the deities in this way, the actual Brahmanas are meant to have their personal deities. They're meant to worship every day. Traditionally, it was like Shaligram Shila, some deity form that they are meant to do every day. Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, and Vaishyas. So that is why it's also mentioned here, they are meant to be, they are the natural leaders in society. Because a leader is someone upon whom we depend, isn't it? If you're a leader of a country, people depend on you. If you're a leader of a temple, and these are the natural leaders in society, Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, and Vaishyas. So that means that actually in any society, and this is easy enough to understand, there are natural leaders. But those natural leaders need to be properly qualified based on the Vedic knowledge, based upon Vedic training. The whole Vedic culture is actually very much focused and centered on training, qualifying, educating all the members actually within society. We have to train individuals to be very qualified leaders, and, which is something we generally tend to forget, we also have to train individuals to be very qualified followers. Because if you only have leaders and nobody follows, it doesn't work. And if you have only followers, they will be misled by which is what's happening in modern day society. They will be misled by unqualified leaders, because followers, they have to follow somebody, whether he's qualified or not. They have to follow. So naturally, better to follow someone who's qualified. This is where the Hare Krishna people come in. The whole society, Krishna conscious society, the whole movement, this mission, the mission of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, actually beginning 500 years ago, the Goswamis, they are our first educators. They're the first teachers, as ordered by Lord Chaitanya, by extracting the essence. And of course, the essence being a bhakti devotional service. We specialize, we as devotees, we as a movement, specialize in what is called the bhakti cult. The bhakti, we're known as the bhakti movement. But within this bhakti movement, our acharyas, especially more recently, personalities like Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, they recognize our own, especially, probably more so, I would say, our own founder, Acharya Srila Prabhupada, recognize that, yes, bhakti is what we should all be performing, pure bhakti. But it's not obvious, not so easy to immediately, even after so many years of practicing Krishna consciousness. And there are many very direct and specific references by Srila Prabhupada. And actually, just a few days ago, when I was in Mayapur giving the Bhagavatam class, this subject came up also around the end of the class, that for those of us, which is the vast majority of devotees, who cannot immediately be Paramahamsas, which is actually, Paramahamsas, they don't have to follow all of these different rules and regulations that we find within Varnashrama. But those who are not Paramahamsas, our Vaishnavacharyas very clearly, very strongly recommend, instruct that we have to work within Krishna's created system, which is actually the perfect system, the only perfect system. Whatever Krishna is giving us, that is perfect. Whatever other systems other people over the centuries have introduced, if it's not conforming with what is there in the Bhagavatam, then, so different social systems. So we have that challenge, actually, as devotees. We have that perfect knowledge. We have that perfect social system. Vedic sociology teaches us the perfect system in society, which is based on these 4 divisions that we're reading about, especially in this section of the Bhagavatam. And that is why, to kind of, bring the point home, Vedic culture actually encourages repetition. Prabhupada was very good, actually. Sometimes devotees might feel uncomfortable that Prabhupada is again and again reminding us that we're not this body, etc. But repetition, actually, if you look at Prabhupada's lectures, he's very expert in repeating, and sometimes he just adds one word that makes it a little different, but it's the same message. Therefore, training in the context of Varnashram college. Prabhupada had very clear, specific ideas on how we can actually realize, make the instructions that are given in the pages of the Bhagavatam actually become reality. So I will make Sri Ram Prabhu very happy by explaining the following thing. That when it comes to books, books are the basis, as we all know. So books, as we know in the early days, I mean, Prabhupada explains that he was writing initially articles, right? He was writing in his Back to Godhead. And then Prabhupada explains that one day actually someone mentioned, Swamiji, you should write books. Because book articles is good, but books are will last for a longer time. Prabhupada took that seriously, and then so he started writing the first canto of the Bhagavatam and took that as his, as we know, life and mission. So, and as we all know as well, Prabhupada, distribute books, and that was like the fever of the early days in ISKCON, and if you don't have that fever, you're not well. Huh? You're not a devotee. You're in Maya. Yeah. If you're not going out on Sankirtan, you're in Maya. Yeah. Even the pujari is on the altar. But what about the deity? Hey. Yeah. So book distribution, as we know, was the heart of the movement in the early days, and remains so important also even today. I mean, Sankirtan newsletter is there, and Sankirtan stories to enthuse and encourage and inspire devotees to go out on book distribution. But then one fine day, as we know, one fine day, Prabhupada asked the question, are you reading my books? You become very expert in distributing these books, but are you reading my books? And unfortunately, the answer was that not so much, or maybe even no. And then so book distribution, of course, continued, but then the emphasis, was given on, okay, we have to read Prabhupada's books also. And then, so this went on for quite some time. Then, at some point, not too long ago actually, somebody said, well, distributing books is very good. Reading books is also very good. But are we studying the books? So distributing, reading, and then studying, because that's also very important, Because very often we don't read in a systematic way. We read, but only like that. There's a whole system. So then systematic study of the books, became a bit more discussed. Oh yeah, that's also important. And then a fourth question. Yeah. So yes, it's very good to distribute the books. It's also very important to read the books, and we must also study the books. But are we living the books? Are we living what is being taught in the books? Are we putting into practice the whole message of the Bhagavatam, which is both something individual in terms of daily responsibility we all have by maintaining a very strong sadhana, chanting the holy name, having morning program, attending Bhagavatam class. Congratulations to all of us. Myself included. Yeah, I didn't know if it was going to happen today. But also, in addition to living it individually every day, Prabhupada spoke about, and it's there in the pages of the Bhagavatam, especially in this seventh canto actually, living it collectively in terms of as a community of devotees, as it is revealed in the culture of Vaishnava culture, Vedic culture. Vedic culture is based on community living, village living actually, village living, because when we start to study the books, to study the knowledge given here, that also is presented very systematically. Now we're talking about like Brahmanas and Kshatriyas. So within the Varnashram college, these are like 2 of the 4 faculties that are meant to make up Varnashram college. The faculty of philosophy, which is actually the basis, the beginning for the other 3 faculties. So there's a specific faculty for the Brahmanas that is called Trayi, the science of education, faculty of education. And that is systematically presented as Chaturdasa Vidya. Chaturdasa Vidya, 14 specific books of knowledge. That is the standard. So the Brahmanas have their own curriculum. That's the curriculum we should be introducing. And then the Kshatriyas, that's another faculty. That's another set of curriculum. And that is called Dandaniti, the science of governance, actually. All nicely elaborated, actually, in our Shastra. And then there's also science and faculty for the Vaishyas, Varta, science of economics, which is Krishi Viraksha. So there's such an urgency, actually, for us as devotees to begin with, to familiarize ourselves with this, to become convinced that actually unless we introduce that in society, society will simply continue to go in the wrong direction, and will end up more and more with situations that are unfolding in Bangalore. To give, an example that I think everyone can relate to, especially those living in Bangalore, isn't it? So this is where we are heading. We are heading towards a totally chaotic situation. It's already extremely chaotic, as we know. And we as devotees, the Bhagavatam culture is giving us the remedy. Both the spiritual remedy, because that's the only real remedy to get us out of this material world. Krishna consciousness, knowing about Krishna. Unless we know about Krishna, we cannot properly understand what is bhakti. Bhakti and Krishna, they go hand in hand. We cannot separate. And also the material knowledge, material understanding of how we should be living. Yeah. So the more that's why it's important to for our householders especially, because they're the ones who are meant to know the real means by which they are meant to make a livelihood, isn't it? Which is, Prabhupada in some specific purports clarifies that nicely as well. The majority of our householders are meant to be engaged in activities connected with cows and land. I saw your nice video about cows and land. It's very nice to see how this is one of many examples, and that it will simply increase of projects, initiatives, as they're having in Kamyavan, getting a point, more and more such type of projects are very much needed within our society to actually demonstrate and also to give an opportunity for our householders. It's like in Togo, in Africa, we have a group of devotees who are setting up a Gita Nagari community. Gita Nagari needs to come up actually in every town and village. I mean, in every village, especially. But the mood and the mentality also in every town, because that's where most people are in towns and cities nowadays, not understanding that most of them are not supposed to be there. Yeah, that's a whole other topic. So we started late. We don't want to finish too late, because we know you're all very responsible and busy people. So if we can take a few seconds if there's any comment or question. Hare Krishna.
I have
You have the
a comment.
comment, yes.
whatever you mentioned, the points of living by books.
Living by books, yes.
Like you were visiting Hawaii. We were together in Hawaii.
Yes.
We went to a farm. There was a Prabhupada's granddaughter. Prabhupada's disciple's granddaughter.
Yes.
You had a conversation. I remember that point. That devotee is like very young guy who is doing farming and cows there. And he said he received a Prabhupada book and he went to temple and the book and the devotees are not matching. And he was not able to connect the books and devotees. Then he moved to the farms and whatever Prabhupada is told in these books and is matching there. And he moved, it was a very good topic you have spoken very well. For 3 days we were in the land. We had a huge paneer and
He remembers it. Yeah, because that's only available when you go to the land.
we were starving whole Hawaii and we went to that place. There was huge milk and
We have to go there again. When's the next flight?
And I'm happy to announce we have a youth camp going on in Kamyan Gurumaj, 3 days.
Okay.
And we have almost 200 students coming.
200 students, wow.
Learning, farming, cows,
Yes.
natural arts. They're all already registered.
Okay, nice. Yeah, I mean, this needs to happen more and more because I'm just recently I came out with a small booklet about Vedic Vaishnav villages, a beginner's guide to simple living and high thinking. I've not published it yet. I've been sharing it here and there.
Nice.
It takes a while to share it. To somebody, yeah. Then I'm working on a second booklet, which will be a beginner's guide to, for setting up Gurukula. And then another one for Varnashram College, very important. And so what you're saying is, yeah, it is so essential and urgently needed that more and more of our devotees, it's happening, but it's still a little slow, I would say, but it's happening more than, let's say, 10 years ago. And I suppose the more headlines we see from places like Bangalore will definitely help devotees to become a bit more thoughtful and yeah. So Prabhupada has given us all of that, and yeah, in writing this booklet on well, even actually for villages. As devotees, we have not really, because we've not really experienced that, which is understandable that we are lacking in understanding. But in Vedic culture, it's not only Gurukul that is providing what we call Vedic education. It's only quite recent I've been having more this realization, that Gurukul is, of course, when we speak of Vedic education, immediately Gurukul comes to mind, isn't it? Because actually that is natural. That's the normal and the standard system of traditional education. But what we fail to understand, and this is revealed especially in 10:11:37. If you've not read that verse, make a note of it and read it as soon as possible. 10th canto, 11th chapter, verse 37, the purport. Prabhupada speaks about, Krishna and Balaram in Vrindavan, they didn't go to Gurukul. They went to Gurukul later, when they left Vrindavan, right? But they received Vedic education. Because Vedic education, for the vast majority of young boys, is in the fields. Or is connected with, traditional Vedic apprenticeship, in connection with cows, in connection with land. It's called non-formal education, which is connected with agriculture as well. So every day, in that purport, Prabhupada explains that Krishna and Balaram every day, they go with hundreds and thousands of cowherd boys and calves when Krishna is still young, 6 and 7. Vedic education, Vedic non-formal education begins at the age of 6 and 7. And Prabhupada said, this is Vedic education. So this is Vedic education for the vast majority of young boys, to go out with the cows every day. And of course we cannot, which is understandable, we cannot relate to that. What do you mean?
Too far.
But we're missing out on so many things, And this is the point I was trying to make in this connection. The 64 arts and sciences are intimately connected with non-formal education. Some aspect also formal education. Like playing, like this one of the 64 arts and sciences is called Krishna Krida. The different games and plays that Krishna and Balaram were enacting, some of which, I don't know how many, are still followed in villages in India, And, we all have heard about the 64 arts and sciences, but, myself included, we've not really given very much attention because a lot of those are not available, So it means we have a lot of homework to do, to bring those out and then to gradually introduce them and teach them.
Just recent times, it's a lot of schools, children want to come to the farm. They're getting a lot of traction is there.
Okay.
We have conducted close to 2-3 schools coming, and we have a whole day training for them.
Yes.
And so many schools are calling us. We will pay money.
Yeah.
Come and learn stuff.
Yeah.
I was thinking why it's like I was teaching.
Well, because people really want to know where the milk comes from.
The education is going to. There is a trend, Guru Maharaj.
Yes.
To learn something.
Correct. Yes. We need more Kamilans. You have to expand yourself.
We need more devotees.
Yeah.
To train. This people are waiting. There is nothing to advertise. We never advertise it in the local area.
Right.
People are coming and say, "Can I bring my family? Can I bring my school? Can I bring my college?"
Yes. Very nice. So
they need places to learn. They're looking for places.
Yes.
100 places there are people to come.
Yes.
It's difficult to bring people in city temple. You have to call.
Yeah, right.
In the farms, they come automatically.
Yeah, okay. Right. So Krishna is very kindly making things happen and giving nice realizations also. Yeah. I mean, nature, the whole, what is more natural and, more peaceful and
Corona 2024.
What is that?
COVID-19.
COVID
More to come.
20.
COVID 24 he wants.
Oh, okay.
Then all people will come.
It's coming from a doctor. No comments. We're not this body. We're not this profession. Just spontaneous Bhagavatam. Yeah, I mean, the dharma means coming back to our nature, coming back to our spiritual nature, coming back to our material nature. Material, there's a more natural way of living. Natural way of working, natural way of interacting with people, interacting with nature, etc. like that. Yeah. So this whole dimension, this whole aspect is it needs to be to become more and more manifest, and that is that is directly connected with Srila Prabhupada's 50% of his unfulfilled mission. And we're getting, as I travel around to different places, like recently in Kazakhstan, there's one nice community, been there for some time. I mean, in the Western world, there are many challenges, and there are challenges everywhere. But Asian countries, in terms of nature, has less challenges. I mean,
Climate.
yeah, a place like Canada where you can, the farmers in Canada, it's a known reality that you cannot plant your seed in the ground before the 24th of June every year, because anytime up to the 24th of June, that's the last record they have, frost can come, snow can come. Imagine, So you have, June is gone, right? 24th. So July, August, September. I mean, you have basically 3 months where you can grow food. So it's a whole science to start early and then to prolong also with greenhouse, etc. And therefore they have what they call root cellars, where they prepare different kinds of food that they keep for the winter and whatnot. So it's a tremendous challenge, but still our devotees are understanding that actually this is the more natural, more sustainable way to live, even though it's not easy. But there's some nice developments in that respect. Any other quick last comment? Okay. I think our time is exhausted anyways. Jai Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai Sri Prabhupada ki Jai Kamivan Project ki Gaur Primananda.
Bhakti Rasa Maharaj ki
Jai.